New Frontiers, where our communities come together, where innovation guides us towards a brighter future, and where we find solutions to the challenges ahead. It takes leadership, perseverance, and teamwork to explore new frontiers, and that's what Farm Bureau is about. We're a leading voice in our nation's capital. We're rallying those in agriculture and beyond around important causes. And always, always, we're there for our neighbors and our communities. With nearly 6 million members across 2,800 counties, we are a powerful force. This year, the American Farm Bureau Convention offers incredible opportunities for farmers and ranchers across the nation to connect, learn, and be inspired. We can reach new frontiers. As farmers and ranchers, we have a pioneering spirit. We're always looking for what's next and how we can get there together. Strap in as we look to the next frontier for Farm Bureau and for American agriculture.
Good morning, Farm Bureau. Welcome to the 105th Annual Convention. I'm Scott Vanderwall, a third-generation corn and soybean farmer and cattle feeder from Volga, South Dakota. I'm very proud to have served as president of South Dakota Farm Bureau for 19 years now and as vice president of American Farm Bureau for 8 years. Over the years, it's been an honor to serve alongside the president of our great organization, Zippy Duvall. I've had a front row seat to his great leadership in Washington and across farm country. He's been a leading advocate on Capitol Hill, at the White House, in coalitions across food, agriculture, and conservation. Over his 8 years as American Farm Bureau president, Zippy has advocated for farmers and ranchers to be recognized for their sustainability efforts, helped defeat misguided regulations, and ensured farmers and ranchers are supported through natural disasters. He helped to shape the 2018 Farm Bill and is looking to see the new Farm Bill delivered to effectively support farmers and ranchers. But first and foremost, Zippy is a farmer. He and his son operate a beef cow herd, they raise broiler chickens, and grow their own hay on their family farm in Georgia. I know he's honored to serve each of you every day and humbled to lead this great organization. We're both so proud to be part of this Farm Bureau family. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my friend and our American Farm Bureau president, Zippy Duvall.
Welcome to the 105th American Farm Bureau Convention. And I am so glad to be here with you today. And I can't wait to spend this time here in Salt Lake City with you. But I got to ask you, is any of y'all planning on going up to the Sundance Film Festival? Well, I was thinking about going there. I wanted to break my way into the film industry. But you know what they told me? There was only room for one Tom Cruise in Hollywood. So I guess I'll stick to farming. You know, before I get started, I'd like to recognize my family. I have Jennifer, my wife here, my daughter, Zelly, whose birthday's today, and Bo, who is Jennifer's son and his first Farm Bureau convention. I want to thank y'all. Give everybody a wave. I want to thank you for your love and support through my Farm Bureau journey. It makes all the difference in the world when your family supports you. But you know, Jennifer and I welcomed another grandbaby into our life this year, into our family. That makes 8 grandkids in our family. Her name's Ruthie. And we're just as proud of Ruthie and all the other 7 of our grandchildren as all of you are your grandchildren. And the other thing is, Jennifer and I, we welcomed 3 New Jersey cows to our farm. Now, that brings Jennifer's little dairy herd up to 5. You know, and if I ain't real careful, she's going to have me right back in the dairy business again. But I was really recovering from it. You know, this week we're going to explore new frontiers at this convention. You truly can feel that frontier spirit out here in the West. I can just imagine the pioneers watching the sunset over those mountains out there, wondering what might be on the other side. Now, I'm sure they had doubts and fears along the way, but they worked together and persevered, and they made it. As farmers, I believe we have a little bit of that pioneer spirit in us too. We're eager to see what's next and how we get there together. New frontiers just aren't new lands to explore. They're places where our communities come together in new and creative ways, where innovation drives us forward to a bright future, where we find solutions to the challenges that we face. We reach new frontiers together, one step at a time. Now, there may be obstacles that we can see, and then there may be some obstacles that we can't. The journey may start on a clear morning, but then by lunch those clouds start rolling in. But we press on. We press on with courage. And when we get to the summit, the other side is often more amazing than we can ever imagine. So what does it take to get to new frontiers? It takes leadership. And at American Farm Bureau, we are leading the way as the voice of agriculture in Washington. Part of our role as the national voice of agriculture is to rally our members to strengthen agriculture, to engage with our members, and to boost our influence and to achieve our goals. A powerful example of our Federation's strength is the advocacy on the waters of the U.S. rule. Together, we all saw a major victory at the Supreme Court on WOTUS. The highest court in the land agreed with what we've been saying all along. The justices unanimously struck down the EPA's significant nexus test. That's right, and they sent EPA and the court back to the drawing board. Now, the EPA did come up with a new rule, and it technically complies with the court's decisions, but it still does not provide the clarity that we've been calling for. You can bet it won't keep working to protect you from the threat and penalties of just simply farming your land. Now, when it comes to many big issues that we face on our farm, you better believe that Farm Bureau is going to be at the table. In fact, we're going to be setting that table for the discussion. We're going to be pulling up all the chairs that we can find. We're going to be getting everyone seated, and we're going to solve the challenges that we're facing. Last year, I talked to you about the power of farm and nutrition programs coming together to advocate for the Farm Bill. Today, we're united behind the Farm Bill for America's Families campaign. So we brought together a diverse group of agriculture, conservation, and nutrition just to explain why the Farm Bill matters to every American. Our messages have resonated with the public, and through this campaign we've reached millions of people across the country. But that's just a slice of what we're doing to advocate for the Farm Bill. See, we started working with the Four Corners way before the Farm Bill expires, Four Corners of the Agriculture Committee. We've got to jump on others, and in fact 2,300 of our grassroots members and leaders came to Washington, D.C. in 2023 to advocate for the Farm Bill. Many others have amplified our message on social media and through testimonials, just like these.
Well, I think second to our national security is food security, and the knowledge that we have a safe, abundant food supply in our grocery stores at all time. I think that benefits all of us.
Supporting the Farm Bill, it's extremely important, and we need to make sure people are supporting and asking for these projects and programs so that there is something that will keep our farms providing fresh, clean, clear food, fuel, and fiber.
So the Farm Bill only comes up once every 5 years. It's very critical that every 5 years we step up, voice our concern, get our needs out there, get them addressed, so that we're not sort of washed out of the system and other voices are heard when our voices aren't heard. And we did a very good job of that. We really stood up.
As Farm Bill members, it's important for us to come together and advocate for the Farm Bill, because while we may all produce different products across the country, combined together we are one strong voice for agriculture, and we can make a difference.
That is some great work by our members. Yes, let's give them a round of applause. Now, thankfully, we've achieved a Farm Bill extension, but we need to get even louder. Now, I know that we need to get through the budget process, but we also need to tell Congress and urge them to pass a new, modernized Farm Bill. And that's just what we're going to be asking you to do this week. We want you to stop by the AFBF booth at the trade show and pick up a card. It looks just like this. And all you have to do is simply scan the code on there to the call to action. Now, this is just our first step in the 2024 grassroots advocacy work that we're going to be doing on the Farm Bill. Now, I want to be clear. We're asking you to help us. We have to send a resounding message to Congress to deliver a new Farm Bill for our farms in our country. Do not leave this convention until you give us that help. Thank you. Now, there's strength when we explore new frontiers, beyond policy, too. For example, our AFBF Promotion and Education Committee is now working with the Escoffier Culinary School. The P&E engagement with this network of chefs and future chefs is having a real impact. We are helping trusted voices in the food sector better understand where their ingredients come from. Now, P&E just provides one of many opportunities for you to lead. There's also the Young Farmer and Rancher Committee, the Women's Leadership Committee, Partners in Advocacy Leadership, and you are stepping up all across Farm Bureau. In your communities, in your state and local governments, as digital influencers, it's really, really impressive. If you're a graduate or a current participant of any of these programs, whether it's at the county, state, or national level, please stand up and let us recognize your leadership. Please stand up if you're part of those programs. Now, another great example of our leadership is our work on sustainability. It took bold action to work with a wide array of groups and of companies and to find common ground. We're working to find the right path forward in government policy and corporate commitment. Today's farmers, our farmers today, are on the forefront of the climate discussion in Washington. We have successfully advocated for voluntary, incentive-based solutions instead of government mandates. Now, our leaders and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are inviting our farmers to the table to help create these solutions. And we've been called to the White House twice now to talk about how climate programs must be voluntary and treat our farmers fairly. We all know that mandates come from outside of government too. So we are also working with food companies to help them better understand farmers. For example, we invited the leaders of Pepsi to go to our convention last year. And guess what? As a result, they formed a new Food and Farm Council. And I am privileged and honored to be able to serve you on that council. See, it's all about just treating farmers as partners. We've come a long ways in just a few years, but that just shows you the power of leadership. Now, it's not a quick and easy journey to get to new frontiers, not at all. Along with leadership, it takes perseverance. It took me only 4 hours to get here from Atlanta, but those first journeys out west, they were long and they were perilous. But those early pioneers, and they needed to press on, and we do too, on the journeys that we face each and every day. It takes boldness to step up and climb that mountain, not knowing what might be on the other side. But if we don't persevere, we'll miss out on some amazing opportunities. This morning at the Flapjack Breakfast, we celebrated how far our foundation has come with the new frontier of book publishing. The book, I Love Strawberries, has brought home more than a half dozen awards. And Good Housekeeping has ranked it in their list of top 17 books for young children. Now, this book is now in its 5th printing and is in the hands of more than 30,000 kids. Let's give the Foundation Board and their staff a big round of applause. Thanks to their efforts, kids all across America are learning more about where their food comes from. And many of those parents reading the books to them, they might be learning something too. If you're interested in what we're doing in the Foundation, we ask you to stop by their booth at the trade show and see all the great things that we're doing. Now, new technologies on the farm are a new frontier of their own. Sometimes it's hard to keep up, but when we harness new technologies, we see amazing results. We're already seeing tractors that drive themselves and drones that can spot crop disease as they fly over, robots that are harvesting fruits and vegetables, and it's nothing short of remarkable that we can determine the exact amount of water and fertilizer needed in each plant in an entire field. And can you believe the advances that we're seeing in innovation like biotechnology and gene editing? Who would have ever thought that we could breed pigs to be immune to an incurable disease, or that we could grow a crop to withstand drought? Now, there are bold steps yet to take in agriculture, like in the new frontier of carbon market. There is much to explore there. But if we're going to realize the benefits, we need to ask bold questions. We need to challenge the assumptions, and we need to find the answers together. Now, not all new frontiers are promising, though. Sometimes we're driven there by a storm, and we're forced to press forward. We found ourselves in one of those hard-fought battles in Prop 12. The final rule, it didn't go like we hoped, but we keep pressing forward. Now, we must navigate state laws that ignore the science and veterinary guides we as farmers depend on to care for our animals. And there are big, big implications when it comes to disrupting interstate commerce too. But we're not going to give up, and we cannot lose faith. Remember, the public overwhelmingly trust us as farmers. Ours is the most trusted profession in America, and that's all really, really cool. But that trust is on display all over America, just like in Texas, where Texas Farm Bureau won a victory when their voters overwhelmingly approved a constitutional amendment protecting the right to farm and ranch in Texas. Congratulations to President Boehner and his team and all their county farm bureaus. We stand together to celebrate victories and face down challenges on a personal level too. Farming is tough on the best of days. And it can really be lonely out there sometimes, especially under the pressures that we face. It takes courage to speak up when you need help. And it takes courage to reach out to others when they're hurting. That's why Farm Bureau entered into a new frontier 5 years ago and took on mental health and wellness. Fast forward to today, 5 years, I'm proud to say that the Farm State of Mind platform has become the go-to resource to our rural communities. And today, Today we're announcing that we're entering into a new relationship with Farm Family Wellness Alliance. Together with those alliance partners, we're going to launch access to new peer-to-peer support community. It's available free of charge to all our farm families across America. And you can reach out anytime you need to, 24/7. And get this, if any additional counseling services are needed, they'll also be made available free of charge. So you don't need to go through hard times alone. And Farm Bureau is going to be right there with you. We have taken this conversation to a new level. To help reach every rural community, we're also announcing another new partnership, and this one is with the Ad Council to launch a mental health campaign focused on the entirely on rural America. It features one of our own brave Farm Bureau members who is willing to share his story to help others.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride in being part of these multi-generational businesses. But there's also a significant amount of pressure. My senior year of high school, my dad made the decision that this world no longer needed him in it. I don't know if he was overwhelmed by the bills and checks that weren't going to be coming in because of the strawberries dying off, but it breaks my heart that my dad made a permanent decision for a temporary issue. Don't feel like you have to go through it alone.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
In the mornings, that's my time. Watching the sun come up, I can have a cup of coffee and exercise if I want to. It helps me start the day with a sense of gratitude.
Yay!
Every day is a new opportunity. Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love your mind.
Marshall's here with us today. Marshall, I just want to say, we're so proud of you. You know, everywhere I go and I talk about this, I say this, and I'm going to say it again. It's okay not to be okay. But it's not okay not to say anything. This Ad Council partnership is going to help us boost our reach way beyond what we had ever hoped for. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you and me. Recognizing the warning signs, however subtle they may be, and acting on it when we see them. Finally, getting to new frontiers takes teamwork. All of us working together to find a way forward. At Farm Bureau, we took on a big challenge to reform the federal milk marketing order. Everyone in the industry could agree that reform was way overdue. Now, as a dairy farmer myself, I can say it's easy to agree that there's a problem, and that's one thing to do. But it is tough, and it's a different ball game to find that solution. See, that's what our challenge was. Our challenge was to find out what the consensus was, what dairy reform really looked like. Where others saw a mountain blocking our way, we saw opportunity to grow stronger and lift that industry up. That's why a little over a year ago, we hosted a meeting with farmers, processors, and dairy groups, and it laid the foundation for USDA to have historic hearings on the federal milk marketing order. Those meetings are going on and continues to during this time, and at Farm Bureau, we're going to be at that table. See, our members and our leaders and our economists, they're making a compelling case about reforms needed to help dairy farmers succeed. Now, another example of teamwork is our call for the Securities Exchange Commission to ensure that our farmers are not caught up in this new climate reporting rule. Many of you here in this room today have helped us send more than 6,000 messages to Congress about this rule. We've urged them to require the SEC to exclude Scope 3, or at a minimum, include a strong agricultural exemption. Now, I've talked to Chairman Gensler several times, myself personally, and he has assured me that he has heard our message loud and clear. And he didn't just say that to me either. He's publicly stated that he agrees with us that farmers shouldn't get tangled up in it. And I hope he stands strong behind that belief when the new rule comes out real soon. What a great example of working together. We've also teamed up on a national scale to support our communities. The Wife and Our Harvest for All program is a prime example of the spirit of giving. The impact that we've made on our communities across the country is nothing short of amazing. Quietly and humbly, one county, one state at a time, from Montana to Pennsylvania to Florida, this program has made a difference in the lives of our neighbors that are in hunger, facing hunger.
The spirit of farm and ranch communities has always been one of working together and giving back. We do it because we care about our neighbors and our communities and recognize that more than 34 million Americans, including nearly 9 million children, are food insecure, living at risk of hunger. Through our Harvest for All program, we've donated tens of millions of pounds of food and thousands of volunteer hours.
Farmers not only care about our land and our resources, but they also care about the people in our local communities. This is why this is such a priority for our people, and we really want to make sure that everybody has access to healthy, fresh food.
Giving back gives you that great feeling and that sense of pride, but it also shows the communities that farmers are willing and there to help in any aspect, in any way that they can, to show support.
That's awesome. In the last 22 years, Harvest for All participants have donated more than 400 million pounds of food and nearly 230,000 volunteer hours to our local food banks. Wow. You know, if you look at that another way, if you put all those hours that were donated in there by one person, that would have equaled 26 years of work. And this program now has won the highest award given in a national competition among associations. I want to thank all of you who have helped us make Harvest for All such a great success. Now, we've talked about what it takes to get to new frontiers. We talked about leadership, perseverance, and teamwork. And all those things are great, but that's what we're all about. That's what Farm Bureau is all about. See, that's where we come together for each other and our communities because we care, and we know that we are stronger together. So I want to leave you with a challenge. As you enjoy reconnecting with old friends and making new ones here at the convention, I'd like for you to discuss what that next new frontier looks like for Farm Bureau. Whether it's at the county, state, or national level, or all three, what does that frontier really look like? Then I ask you to consider what role you can play in there to help us get there. See, leadership starts with each and every one of us. Whether this is your first convention or your 50th convention, doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter what your title is or how young or old you are. You can help us chart a path to new frontiers for Farm Bureau and for our communities. So when you get home, invite a friend or neighbor to a local Farm Bureau meeting. See, that's how I came to Farm Bureau, and I think that's probably how most of y'all did. We need everyone at the table working together so that we can reach those new frontiers. See, that task is way too big for any one of us to tackle alone. Together, we can reach that summit. And you know what? It truly is awesome, because I've already seen it. I can see it right now in my eyes, because I've already been there. I've had the great privilege of traveling this country on your behalf. See, I see the excitement in every Farm Bureau annual meeting I go to. I feel the energy in every county leaders meeting and when I visit you on your farms and ranches. I want to thank you all for being a good in your community, a force of good in your community, and a friend to your neighbor, and an advocate for this noble profession that we call farming. I celebrate your successes with you. Every story shared, every award earned, every policy win, and each new step that we take into a new frontier. Friends, Farm Bureau family, this is our moment. I see new opportunities in 2024 and a bright future for us. As Philippians says in 4:13, it tells us that we can do all things through God who strengthens us. So let's explore these new frontiers before us. Let's keep blazing a trail with leadership, perseverance, and teamwork and faith. And we have got this if we work together. Thank you, and God bless you. It's an honor and privilege to serve as your president. God bless the American farmer.